So one of the questions that we've constantly had come up in the past is a little bit of confusion based on our cue with diaphragmatic breathing and bracing of sinking the rib cage down. So what I'm going to show you here is just our progression of how we teach the athlete and take them from diaphragmatic breathing all the way to bracing with a deadlift. So we have Adam here on the ground. We have a band wrapped around his midsection to give him a little bit of feedback for his diaphragmatic breathing. So I'm going to cue him up just to take a few diaphragmatic breaths. So we start right in the belly, and as you can see, the ribs are going to move with diaphragmatic breathing, as they should. Ribs come up, ribs go down. Inhale, exhale. So that movement of the rib cage right there is what we're looking for and exactly what we mean when we say lock the rib cage down. Now, diaphragmatic breathing and bracing, two completely separate things. When he locks his rib cage down, I'm trying to see that the space between his lower back and the mat does not go away. All right, this is something that creates a lot of confusion. A lot of athletes are told to flatten their spine out in this position. That's not something we want to do. We want to teach them to brace in the neutral position. So that's something I'm cueing him up. I can wrap a little towel and put it underneath his lower back to give him more feedback to keep that space. But for now, we're just worrying about his breathing. So I'm going to tell him now to lock his rib cage down. I'm going to stick my fingers here, make sure that the space between his lower back and the mat does not go away. And now that his rib cage is locked down, he's still breathing, but it's called breathing behind the brace now. Now he's going to lift the feet off the ground. Now the important thing here that you're trying to monitor is his lower back position. When he lifts his feet up, does the arch get larger? Does it go away? Okay? Go ahead and drop his feet back down. Touch a heel. Come up. Touch a heel. Come up. So we've given him proper alignment by putting him on the ground. Go ahead and drop your feet down. And we've given him stability by putting him on the ground. So we put him in the most successful position to be able to do this little drill. The only thing you have to do is cue him up to drop the rib cage without flattening the lower back out, and then have him add in some perturbation. We like to use a dead bug or a dying bug just to add a little bit of perturbation to the hips and the core. So now we've taken our athlete from the ground, we've taught them how to diaphragmatically breathe and how to brace. Now we stand them up. There are positions in between that we can ease them into the standing position, like a kneeling, half kneeling, quadruped, but for the sake of this video, we're going to have them standing. We're going to go back over the breathing, all right? So we want to make sure that now that we have him standing, he can still diaphragmatically breathe and have good rib movement. Go ahead and take a few diaphragmatic breaths. Ribs are moving in and out. Chest is moving as well. Now, as he goes to brace, he's going to push out against the band and sink the rib cage. It's all going to be simultaneous. So now, go ahead and take a breath in, breathe out, push out against the band. Push, lock down. All right. Now, this space right here between his pelvis and his ribs, locked down. What's in between there? The lumbar spine. That's something we always want to be neutral. Now that he's locked in position, he's practicing breathing shallowly. Okay, breathing behind the brace. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him through a fundamental movement. You'll have to use your own discretion if they're ready for a weight yet, or if they have to do this with just body weight. We're going to bring him through a hip hinge. Okay, so we place the weight up here to make sure that he stays in a neutral spine. Right back up. One more. Good, so Adam's exhibiting a neutral spine here. He's pretty advanced. If he wasn't that advanced, we take the kettlebell away. We can go through back down to the floor. We can go through other movements without weight. But you want to make sure that they're able to do that and keep that brace through multiple reps so that we can sequence that into our programming and that just becomes second nature.